Amitakiapi. Chante Washte na Pechi P.
Oh.
Crystal Owen Imakiapi. My Dakota name is Chante Washte. And my mom gave me that name actually just a few years ago. So the other day she said, you better start using your name when you're talking, letting people know who you are. So she's listening, she's watching, she's tuned in. I want to thank her for that teaching. You are tuned into the Planning Show, and the Planning Show airs live every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. And every week we have different guests on the show. And this week we're going to be talking about the Justice Center. And we have Chairman Flute, and we also have Project Coordinator Eric Shepard in the studio with us. And we're going to be talking, we're going to be sharing information with community about the new Justice Center, why it's important. We're going to talk a little bit about the funding strategy, and we're going to talk about all the possibilities, the endless possibilities that a Justice Center, a regional Justice Center can, all the possibilities, all the good things that it can do for our community. So I'd like to welcome you, Justice Chairman.
Thank you.
And if we could just get started by maybe give us a little bit of an update on why do we need a Justice Center? Maybe some people might not know that or don't live on the reservation. They might not be aware that we currently do not have a jail, that our jail has been shut down. So if you could give us an update on that.
So let me go back to a couple of years back. We had some of the districts come in that had concerns with our tribal police force. And rather than getting rid of the tribal police force, we called in what was called a corrective action support team, and that was the CAS team. And what that CAS team did is they came in and they evaluated our books, they evaluated how the tribal police force was operating, and also without us knowing, they were going to be looking at our detention facility. They looked at the tribal detention facility and they deemed it to be unfit and not able to meet the standards that the Bureau of Indian Affairs has for housing inmates in that facility. There was no rec area, there were fire hazards, the door locks and the doors that were on that building were old and outdated. There wasn't a dietitian there that was able to and able to cook good meals for the prisoners that met the standards for meals. Even the prisoners have rights. And so with that, they came in and they said, we're going to shut down your detention facility, but they didn't have a plan for replacement. And so that's how our tribal jail got shut down, was by the BIA. And so at that time, myself and the leadership, which Crystal was a part of, we took a stance against the BIA coming in to shut us down without having a plan for replacement. And because the BIA is inadequately funded by Congress, which in turn trickles down where we're inadequately funded by BIA, we were enthralled to the challenge of lobbying our congressional leaders to put money into the BIA's tribal detention construction program, new tribal detention construction program, which hadn't been funded since 2010. So I'm very proud to say that this tribe, with the efforts of a lot of people, including the vice chairman, including the previous tribal council to this one, our legal team, now we have Eric on as our project coordinator, we have special counsel out in DC. There's been a really good team that's been comprised that we fought for new federal money to be put into the omnibus, which it was put into the omnibus. There was 18 million. And you can ask any one of the congressional leaders, you can ask anybody up on Capitol Hill, that this tribe is the tribe that lifted the weight to get money put into the new tribal detention construction program, which is 18 million. So there's a list of tribal detention facilities that were closed by the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And the current list that we have confirmation from our congressional leaders is Blackfeet is #1 on the list, our tribe is #2, and Mescalero Apache is #3. And so we're at the point now where this package is going to go up by the 29th of June, and they will decide based on our need and our argument and all the data to support our argument and our need, how much money we're actually going to get. At the end of the day, our tribe will be building a new tribal detention. But to get to the question of why we need a justice center, the justice center that Crystal and I and the other leadership at that time when this started, we wanted the treatment components included in this all-inclusive justice center, which was not just incarceration but also treatment. And so the need of this reservation for treatment is very great. And so the tribe, with the support of the community, took that position to build an all-inclusive justice center, which, after working with our congressional leaders, resulted in them asking us to build this in phases, which phase 1 would be the most important component, which would be the detention facility. And that's what the tribe is in the process of right now. The bidding will be going out. I'll kind of leave those details to Eric to share. But we have a catch and release justice system right now where our tribal police are catching people that are committing very serious crimes, not speeding or littering or throwing a piece of trash out their window, but there's serious crimes being committed, such as drinking and driving, drug dealing, and unfortunately, because Roberts County is full and the other surrounding communities that we have memorandums of understanding with to use their facilities, because they're full, our tribe is having to, like in an instance, without naming names, we pick up a person that's driving while intoxicated, and because the facilities around the area are full, our tribal police officer has to take that individual to his residence, or if he's staying with his relatives, and we're hoping that they just stay there and not get back into another vehicle and possibly wreck or kill somebody or kill themselves. And so the need for a tribal detention facility has been here for many, many years. And I'll say this publicly, that it's unfortunate that previous leadership didn't take a better look at and give the support to the public safety needs of this tribe. And I wish we could be building some other components like the treatment components, but we have to build this detention facility first so that we can get people that are committing violent crimes off the street, not letting them go, and hopefully getting them into the different treatment programs that we can. So that's public safety on the reservation and in the community is #1, and that's why we're building a new tribal detention facility.
And I think many of you in the community realize that it is of great importance that we do have at least a jail. We need at least a jail. When we talk about healing and wanting a safe, healthy community, this new jail, the center, is going to be part of that plan. And as a planning show, it is our purpose and our goal to bring you this information straight from the leadership to you without going anywhere. You can watch it on TV, you can watch it on your computer, and some of you are even listening on the radio. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in today and to join in on this very important conversation. And if you have any questions, you can email or send them via Facebook to Tom Wilson here at KXSW 89.9 FM, while Chairman Flute is here and Project Coordinator Eric Shepard, and they can help answer your questions for you. So right now we'll talk with Eric. And Eric, if you would kind of give us a lowdown on like the funding strategy, what's really all involved in a project of this magnitude?
Well, I think the crucial parts is the planning and the coordination of it. And beginning from the focus groups, work groups, and those kind of changes along the project line and the timeline there is the sensitivity of that. those funding streams and the allowables and not the allowables. You know, we have protocol and procurement to follow as well. Coordinating all those efforts together so that we do have a solid envelope, so that we can, at the end of the day here in our timeline of submitting this to the Department of Justice, that we are in compliance of everything. Our checklist has went down the order. We've done our due diligence on our partners, and that we are, again, in compliance, and that's always key strategy right there, too, is to remain in compliance and showing that we are good constituents of the resources, that we will be applying this to a master plan for our community.
And so, Eric, where did you learn? Where do you? I know you come from here, but where did you learn all of this process?
This probably goes back about 7, 8 years ago. But even before that, I wasn't just a fancy dancer like everybody sees me as, of wearing bustles across Indian country and things like that. I've always had an interest and a niche in community development, knowing that I come from a strong family DNA of leadership and also community development that has really laid down the traction along with other families on SWO. Knowing that it's not about organizations and entities, it's more about people. And at the end of the day, it really is. And that, again, we're providing public safety, housing development, and infrastructure, added infrastructure improvements continuously as we become more progressive, proactive, and not in a reactive kind of way. So that was kind of always, I found my niche there. Some very positive, great mentorship roles in my life. I've been fortunate enough to have that, and worked with a number of great people, internally and externally as well. Learned a few things, and I've always been out of the box kind of thinker, and very progressively, and not just challenge policies, but also battle policies. So Jumpstart was right here at home. Had an opportunity to take that out to Minnesota, and learn some really great things out there, nationally as well, getting recognized, representing our Eastern Woodlands region, which is still our homelands as well. 1666 of being a director for Native American Indian Housing Council. Just those learning experiences, and being able to have insight and experiences of that, and be able to come home and apply those skills, that skill setting. You know, I thank the leadership, you know, for welcoming me back home, and it feels good to be back home to do such projects such as this. One I know of many ahead of us on the horizon there. So just a lot of great people I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by, even through Powell. I do, from that jump start to now, there's so many of our Powell people that are in professional development, and really has opened that door. It really does. Chairman here, I met when I first came back in '91. Many of you guys, you know, and welcoming back home even then in our family, and to where we are currently.
And that's what makes it so exciting to be, that our Oyate is taking leadership responsibility, and, you know, talking about sovereignty and about what does being a sovereign nation mean. And that's kind of like taking care of our own, we have our laws, we have our codes, we're building our infrastructure, and we're building our people, in fact. So maybe, Chairman, you can kind of give us a lowdown on some of the projects, other projects that are going on currently.
Yeah, just real quick, I just wanted to share too that you know, we're real confident with Eric. So far he's doing a great job, and we really look forward to, you know, accomplishing this important project for the tribe. Just real quickly too, that you know, we did apply for a CTAS grant of $4 million, and we'll be hearing some news on that hopefully in about a month or two, which I think is really important. Plus the tribe's $5 million contribution that we established a couple years back that would go into this project. And just real quickly, you know, we could have built a tribal jail with the $5 million we had invested, but in looking at the economic opportunity and I'm not a businessman, I'm a history major, but just, you know, from the learning and, you know, from listening to those that are professionals in that economic niche, that there is some great economic opportunity here for the tribe in building a regional facility. But in moving forward, with other projects, we got the hemp project. Are those a couple of the projects you wanted to kind of talk about?
Well, yeah, just that,
And-
yeah, the hemp project, and what else do we have? Maybe an update too on the elder. A lot of people are asking about that elder building. If that's probably still in the works, hopefully.
That's where I campaigned on transparency, so I'll be transparent and honest. As I said I would. There, you know, we're having some challenges with the elderly village complex. We're having some challenges there, and it goes back prior to Tribal Council taking over the Dakota Nation Development Corporation Board. We had to make a decision, and we needed to stop some of the decisions that were being made. I've said this publicly, it's not confidential information, so you know, we have some challenges there. But also in the tribe's position, I'm glad that Crystal mentioned this about the sovereignty, is the Raymond James tax investors themselves wanted to limit us on having our say on an easement.